Happy Friday, everyone, and welcome to my channel, Energy Medicine with Monica. I'm Monica, and we get together every Friday to shift consciousness, to shed light on what's ready to be transmuted, to be healed, to be acknowledged, to be looked at, so that your body mind can get to work. Um, and heal, which happens spontaneously. Now, there's a little bit of a shift taking place in my channel. What I've been doing since 2021 has been coming on and doing body talk sessions for the world, for everyone, for myself and for everyone who's joined or has found my channel and the global. So whatever you received for yourself then trickles out into your world. I want to shake things up a little bit. I could feel that a wind of change coming in to my channel, and I'm not quite sure which way to go. So I would love your feedback. So if you have some insights that you'd like to share with me, or some topics that you'd like to be explored, or something that you've been struggling with that you're having a hard time dealing with, you can send me a little email, and that'll give me a little bit of subject matter or a focal point of what to deal with or what to discuss. And maybe these little conversations will open up your perspective and enlighten you in some way, not in the sense of you're going to be fully enlightened, or maybe, but in the sense of seeing a different perspective, shedding light on a different angle on something that's been stuck. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to bring up the topic of stress and how apropos, because in March, what I'm doing for Women's Day here in Pembroke, Ontario, is I'm holding a stress workshop for women. Now, most people talk about managing stress, and I am just really confused about that. I don't understand what people mean by stress management. That brings the focus to controlling or keeping in reins your outside life. Like, how can I manage life happenings? The only thing that I have some kind of control over, now a healthy modicum of control, meaning um, emotional regulation, I have control over my breath. I have control over my breath. I can pause. I have control. Not that you have control over your thoughts. The thoughts are going to swoop in. And usually, what ends up happening, if you take a minute to feel this for yourself, or you can even experiment for yourself, you can think about a stressful situation or something that you're struggling with. And having that switch situation or thing to face is enough. But something happens. The mind gets triggered. Active memories get triggered. Past gets triggered. Your history gets triggered. All of these things come rushing in and the body contracts. You could feel it. Whatever it is that's stressing you, whether it be finances, whether it be family, whether it be relationships, whether it be health, or maybe you've got a piece of everything and it just feels so overwhelming. And as soon as the thought you start thinking, really being involved with the stress of what's happening, notice what happens to your breath. Everything contracts down. The diaphragm gets tight. Your breath becomes shallow. Your heart rate may race. Right now, I'm feeling into it. My mouth has gone pasty. It's really hard to concentrate or to get the words that you're trying to say out. There's confusion and you're triggered. And from this triggered space, from this heightened reactive space, practical action becomes absolutely impossible. There's no anchoredness through this space. It becomes overwhelming. Maybe your senses are overwhelmed and thinking, not practical thinking, not logical thinking, not using the healthy mechanism of your brain, honing in the mind, being right here in the present, seeing things clearly. But all of these filters and emotions and past events take over, and you're triggered. And then you say, I need to manage stress. Stress is the problem. Now, stress happens all the time. And our What ends up happening is we go into the sympathetic nervous system, fight, flight, freeze, fawn for a small amount of time to take care of something that needs tending to right away. And then it's supposed to switch back into the parasympathetic, into that rest and digest. And the parasympathetic is where healing happens. This is where we are calm and centered. Like those people that in chaotic times, they're still calm and centered. So I'm thinking about police officers or um, firefighters or people that go and put themselves in the lines of danger that are really it's chaos everywhere, but they're cool, calm, and collected. Now, if they got involved with their thoughts, or you can even think for yourself, I know that, when your child gets hurt, for myself, there's been moments of emergency, actual emergency with my kids. They got hurt. There's been an accident, something need tending to, whether it even be a small kitchen fire. I remember I did that. I left the pot on and the coconut oil got too hot. I was distracted and whoof, I had a small little fire on my stove. And I stayed really calm. I picked up the frying pan and I threw it outside in the snow. So you can think about moments of like that for yourself where the parasympathetic, you're cool, calm, and collected. You're in practical thinking and you just respond. You take response. You respond to the stressful stimulus that is happening. Now, if I would have gotten caught up in drama, if I would have gotten caught up in thinking, if I would have gotten caught up in victim mode, if I would have gotten caught up in martyrdom or any identifications, like taking it really personally. I'm so stupid. How can I have been so distracted? Now there's a fire. The whole house would have burnt down. I wouldn't have been able to take practical action in my life in that situation. And then it would have expounded the problem. It would have made it 1,000 times worse. So, which brings me to thinking about constant remuneration of the stressful situations in your life can make you sick. It can affect your health. It can affect your physical, if it could affect your physical body, it could affect your looks, it could affect your hair, your nails, your skin, your organs. So it's not about managing the outside world. It's about taking care of yourself and bringing yourself back to breath, right? And how do you do that when you're triggered? It's almost impossible. This is why people like me do this work where you can, when you're triggered, you can go and find a practitioner and we get to the root of what's really ailing you, the root that's causing this big upheaval. And it could be something that is so unexpected. Usually, these stressors, when you take them personally and you make it about you and you say something about yourself, and it must be me, it must be my fault. I'd like you to switch the words of instead of why is this happening to me, switch it to a question of what is this doing for me? What is this doing for me? What is this stressful situation trying to bring up for me for transmutation, for alchemy, for healing to happen? Because usually that trigger stems from early childhood years. And the thing is no one tells us to grow how to grow up. We're just grown all of a sudden. You go from being a child into an adolescence, and all of a sudden at 18, you're just an adult and you're expected to adult. The thing is that those coping mechanisms, those wounds, those identifications, those things that stress you when life is neutral. And we say that life is stressful. Life isn't really stressful. There might be stressful situations, but it really depends on how your perception of it, how you're taking it, what wounds are coming up to be shown, what identifications do you struggle with? So, an identity, simply put, is a wound coming up to be healed. And it's triggered because it's ready now. It's ready to be tended to. So I know it can make it feel really, really uncomfortable to be triggered. It feels terrible. The breath contracts, your bones get heavy, everything contracts in. But instead of looking at what can I do to manage my outside life, you switch it back to yourself and say, what do I need to look at within? What is this showing me? What have I missed? What wound is ready to be tended to? And if you switch it with gentleness and actually feel what you're feeling, tune into your breath and breathe those big diaphragmatic breaths. You can open up that limbic brain and that diaphragmatic section where the breathing section where it can just move down into the gut brain to synthesize and transmute whatever's ready to be shifted. But if you're not breathing, you're contracted, you're bearing down. The first thing is bring focus to your breath and stay with your breath, not forcing it, not trying to get it to do something else. Actually be with yourself and your breath as it is, and notice what happens when you pay attention, when you bring attention back to your breath. It calms down. Usually, what ends up happening is things start to move, you start to feel. And I can't say this reminder enough, feeling is healing. It's what we do in this work. You are doing all of the healing yourself. I'm just a flashlight. You are your own best healer. Sometimes you just need a guide because that mind trips you up and you take things really, really personally and you think it's about you and you think you need to control your outside life or control the world around you. And once everything out there seems calm, then you're safe. Bring it back to your breath. And instead of saying, what's wrong with me, you can switch it to, what is this doing for me? What is this showing me? And if you're stuck, then this is the greatest time to reach out to a practitioner and you can really get to some fun investigating, really gently shifting your perspective, calms the nervous system, and then you can take practical action for yourself in your life. Okay, I think that's it for today. Um, so we talked a little bit about stress and stress management. I guess I could talk about this forever. There's so many things I'd like to touch base on in accordance to this. But if you have any other topics that you'd like me to do a little video about, or if you're not shy of getting on, I'd love to have a live participant and we can go back and forth. And I think that would be a lot of fun. Please let me know if you enjoyed this, if you like this new format. Your feedback helps me to serve you better. Please like, share, and subscribe because it helps me to get out there into the world and to help as many people as I possibly can. All right, have yourselves a wonderful weekend. Bye, everyone.